people are treating Google like their most trusted friend. Should they be?
Well, I think judgment matters.
Eric Schmidt is Google's CEO.
If you have something that you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But if you really need that kind of privacy, the reality is that search engines, including Google, do retain this information for some time. And it's important, for example, that we are all subject in the United States to the Patriot Act. It is possible that that information could be made available to the authorities.
Welcome to Lesson 2, Topic 3. Google and Facebook and why they don't give a damn about your privacy. This lesson has started with Eric Schmidt, Google CEO. His opinion on privacy is clear as day. Privacy is not important if you don't get into any criminal activities. In this lesson we'll get into some other examples where Google and Facebook have been showing that they simply don't give a damn about your privacy. From tapping open Wi-Fi networks to spying on your conversations at home, it's all been proven. Let's look into a few examples how Google has been showing not to care about the privacy of their users at all. But first, let's look at some broken promises by Google in the past. The founders of Google, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, promised they wouldn't show ads when launching Google in 1998. They broke this promise in 2002. They also promised they wouldn't use the user profiles while delivering their ads. This promise was broken in 2007. They would also never connect the data from all the different services like YouTube, Gmail and Calendar. They also broke this promise on January the 24th in 2012. And Google promised not to connect all the data they gather with DoubleClick. This is an advertising company they bought in 2017. DoubleClick had a completely different approach to selling information to advertisers. They promised the advertisers more than 300 different characteristics from their users. Users had to give specific permission for Google to be able to connect the data. But you can guess what happened. This promise was broken too in June 2016. So Google's goal here becomes really obvious. Create or buy beautiful, user-friendly and free services like Calendar, Drive, YouTube, Gmail and not to forget the mobile operating system Android. 70% of mobile devices is running on Android now. The next step is you make sure you seduce as many people as possible to use those services and to share as much data as possible. Then you connect all the data from different services so you can sell ads as efficiently as possible. Google's revenue of $162 billion in 2019 almost all came from serving ads. But it doesn't stop there. Google uses this ad revenue to further enhance their territory by investing in fiber optic cables in areas with bad interconnection. They invest in self-driving cars, smart glasses and smart assistants. Their ambitions for data collection seems to have no boundaries. In the sources down below, you can read about some disturbing privacy invading activities Google has been part of in the past. Listening to Google Home users all day, still tracking your Android location while it's been turned off, letting third parties scan your emails, and not to forget, installing COVID-19 tracking without user permission. Let's head on to Facebook, because that's the only other big tech company that takes it a step further. To begin with, Facebook knows way more about their users than Google does. Just think about all the personal information you had to fill in when creating an account and add all your connected friends, pictures, calendar events, timeline messages, private messages, and yes, Facebook also owns WhatsApp. They connect audience information to your searching behavior. Well, how do they do this? Every website with a like button gives the user a cookie by which the user's online behavior will be tracked. Given this like button is installed on more than 10 million websites, they are tracking almost everyone online. Think you're safe when you don't have Facebook? Well, think again. The Google cookie will also be sent to people who don't have Facebook. So even if you don't delete Facebook, that doesn't mean you're safe. The solution to this problem is laid out in section 3. And also, Facebook has broken their promises. In 2009, they updated their privacy policy to make Facebook's basic user settings more straightforward. Later on, it became obvious that these settings were sharing a lot more data than before. Other broken promises include telling customers not to share their data with advertisers while they did. Another one was promising to remove all pictures and videos when removing an account. Of course, they didn't. And another one was promising that some parts of the user information would stay private, well, also, this wasn't the case. Because of those revelations, Mark Zuckerberg had to apologize in front of court because of misleading its customers. So these companies are obviously trying to fool us into using their products while continuously making false promises. Facebook and Google are no public services. They are advertising companies. Your data is their money. We'll close this lesson with a few awkward moments from the Facebook hearing in 2018. I'll see you in the next lesson.
Have you or anyone at Facebook been interviewed by the special counsel's office?
Yes.
Have you been interviewed?
I have not. I have not.
Others have.
I believe so, and I want to be careful here because that our work with the special counsel is confidential, and I want to make sure that in an open session I'm not revealing something that's confidential.
I understand. That's why I made clear that you have been contacted, you have had subpoenas.
Actually, let me clarify that. I actually am not aware of a subpoena. I believe that there may be, but I know we're working with them.
Do you know who Palantir is?
I do.
Some people have referred to them as Stanford Analytica. Do you agree?
Senator, I have not heard that.
Okay. Do you think Palantir taught Cambridge Analytica, as press reports are saying, how to do these tactics?
Senator, I don't know.
Do you think that Palantir has ever scraped data from Facebook?
Senator, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Do you think that during the 2016 campaign, as Cambridge Analytica was providing support to the Trump campaign under Project Alamo, were there any Facebook people involved in that sharing of technique and information?
Senator, we provided support to the Trump campaign similar to what we provide to any advertiser or campaign who asks for it.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about.
Here's what everybody's been trying to tell you today, and I say this gently. Your user agreement sucks. I'm going to suggest to you that you go back home and rewrite it. And tell your $1,200 an hour lawyers, no disrespect, they're good. But tell them you want it written in English, in non-Swahili, so the average American can understand it. That would be a start.
Quite a story, right? Dorm room to the global behemoth that you guys are, only in America. Would you agree with that?
Senator, mostly in America.
You couldn't do this in China, right? Or what you did in 10 years.
Well, Senator, there are some very strong Chinese internet companies.
Right, but you're supposed to answer yes to this question. Okay, come on, I'm trying to help you, right? I mean, give me a break. You're in front of a bunch of... The answer is yes, okay? So thank you.